Friends, the efficacy of any justice delivery system, in this case the reference is to the criminal justice system, is tested upon the touchstone of its ability to deliver justice with the required expedition. Even otherwise, we have an Urdu couplet which indicates the agony of the litigant public awaiting justice, which says, मैंने ये कब कहा कि मेरे हक में हो जवाब, लेकिन खामोश क्यों है, कोई फैसला तो दे. And we have a beautiful hierarchical system of justice in place, which means that once the matter is expeditiously disposed of at the trial level, the affected party can try its luck in the first appellate court, and then the second appellate court, and then of course the apex court jurisdiction in the manner of SLP, review jurisdiction, and the curative facet. If things, however, do get held up at the trial level, the matter doesn't go any further. So the only purpose is that there should be expedition in the dispensation of justice at the trial court level and even thereafter. The putting in place of the Negotiable Instruments Act, the reference is to section 138 of the Act, was to answer the needs of the commercial facet, because with the enlargement of the commercial activity all over the world, of course, it would have reference to the Indian facet in particular. If somebody's money is held up for long, then it affects the commercial activity. Initially, the conventional manner was to file a suit for recovery. It had certain inbuilt disadvantages and it would encourage delay. For example, court fees of the appropriate category had to be levied in a plaintiff filed for the suit for recovery. The amount was quite large. And then the procedure law, put in place very ably by the legislators, did have scope, amplitude of scope for adjournment after adjournment and delay in the dispensation of justice. I would just quote a simple example which came to my notice while I was functioning as a single bench for the criminal revision roster. I had before me a revision in which the petitioner called in question the order of the trial court granting adjournment in a particular matter. Ordinarily, it would speak to be a very simple affair. It wasn't, in fact. That was a case in which the party opposite before the High Court, the plaintiff, has had as many as about 74 adjournments. And its evidence was closed by the trial court on account of the inability of the plaintiff to adduce evidence. Thereafter, the plaintiff decided to put in an application for the framing of an additional issue. To be correct on facts, that issue did not arise out of the pleadings of the parties. However, the issue came to be framed, and the matter again adjourned for allowing an opportunity to the plaintiff therein to adduce evidence on the additional issue. Apart from the fact that the issue just did not arise, it did come to be framed. And that afforded an opportunity to the plaintiff to get over the order of the civil court, trial court, which ordered the closure of plaintiff's evidence under its own orders. The revision had facts which were very revelatory in character. My only purpose of pointing it out is that our fertile brains do have ample scope for seeking adjournment on one pretext or the other. The reference I made in the earlier part of the deliberation was a very peculiar case in which the matter just did not call for the framing of an additional issue or the grant of an adjournment. for adducing evidence, because the evidence of the party seeking the additional issue, that additional issue just did not arise out of the pleadings of the parties. I would end up at that. I have been a part of the justice delivery system at all hierarchical levels. For long, I had been a judicial officer at the ground level. I can claim entitlement to be in the know of the ground level reality, which impedes the early dispensation of justice in the criminal trials. I would propose certain measures which I have called out on the basis of my experience as a part of the justice delivery system. I would begin to enlist those, enumerate those measures. 1. We should have history sheets of all the cases under the 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act prepared. The history sheets would indicate the progress made up to the date of preparation of the history sheets, and it will open the file to vigilance in the matter of administrative discipline. Then we can have court managers in place. That is an institution which has been in place, but it does not seem to be in place at the moment, though the putting in place of the court managers was recently approved by the Honorable Apex Court in a litigation. I do not at the moment recollect the exact case, but it did come to be reported in the print media. And it wasn't long ago. It was during the last 3-4 months. The court manager can perform the administrative task of having a look at the progress made by the concerned judicial officer or judicial officers in the matter of these cases, and then he can point out wherever he finds that the adjournment came to be granted for invalid reasons, for no valid reasons, or on the virtual drop of a hat. If any quarters have a reservation about the validity of assigning that task to the court manager, though I would not personally feel that there is any difficulty in granting that administrative matter to them, let's accept it that the reservation is valid. Then the role can be assigned to a judicial officer at the local level, session division level, or at the high court level. The exclusive job of the officer or the team of officers, and there is no dearth of dedicated officers at any level, you will agree with me. The job of the dedicated team would be to oversee the progress in the cases under the Negotiable Instruments Act and to point out the aberration in the matter of grant of adjournments at every level. The team would also notice whether the service steps, the endeavor at the effecting of service upon the accused therein, is being handled by the process agency in a proper manner. That would take me to the second suggestion. We should have a dedicated team of process serving agency, bailiffs or process servers or constabulary, whichever is appropriate in the relevant procedural rules of business. The team must be put in the know of the fact that its procedure would be observed with closer supervision by the team charged with the responsibility of overseeing the progress of those cases. As in the case of the courier services, the private courier services, the process server could record the proceedings on the mobile. When he goes to a particular premises to effect service, the recording would be of the person who opens the door and whatever that person says. We should require the complainant to place on record the ID proof photograph, bank account number, or any other ID proof, including Aadhaar card of the accused. The particulars of the accused could also be obtained from the concerned bank branch where he holds the account and in respect of which account he might have issued the particular check. Now, once the identity of the accused is established, there will be no difficulty in effecting service upon him. Then the proceeding recorded on the mobile would indicate whether the effort is being made on the part of the accused in delaying the proceedings. Now, please see, in the case of these category of matters, there would be at the most 3 number of witnesses. The drawee of the check, that is the individual in whosoever the check had been issued, the bank official who would be called upon to prove on the basis of the record whether the check was dishonored or the check bounced on account of insufficiency of funds in the account, or whether it was a case of stop payment. The third would be the proof with regard to the service of legal notice, which would come to be issued by the drawee of the check to the accused, requiring him to pay up within the statutorily required period, or else a prosecution, obviously of non-cognizant nature, would be launched in the competent court of law. These 3 witnesses would be followed up by the statement of the accused, and maybe procedurally speaking, the framing of a charge and the recall of those 3 witnesses only for purpose of cross-examination. That would be followed up by the statement of the accused to explain the incriminating appearing against him and the defense evidence. It will be obviously for the accused to put in an application to step into the witness box if he would like to explain the circumstances under which he would plead for exoneration from liability, to pay up, or any other witness to prove any other defense which he might like to take. That opportunity and the locus standi and entitlement he would obviously have. So it's not a case where you will have a large number of eyewitnesses, as in the case of murder cases or hurt cases, or the chain of transactional witnesses, the res gestae witnesses, or the like, the recording of which is likely to take a much longer duration for conclusion of the trial. We are thus clear that this number of cases, the recording of evidence of this number of cases would not require long. And then, as per the orders of the apex court, the proceedings have to be held under the surveillance of the CCTV in the courts. I would not know whether that order has come to be complied with in all the judicial courts all over India or not. But that is not the roster of today's deliberation, and that's for the concerned competent administrative authorities to take care of it. What we can cull out from the submissions I have made today is: 1, we should have the history sheets of these cases in place. 2, we should have a dedicated team of the officials charged with the responsibility of effecting service and the methodology to be adopted by them for effecting the service. 3, we should have in place a dedicated team, whether at the local level or the High Court level, to oversee the progress of cases on each date of hearing. Once we put that dedicated and concerned system in place, I'm very sure there would not be any occasion for anyone to say that the delay in the matter of expediting the cases of that category arises because of the inability of the system to score the presence of the accused. That's what the print media reported. The print media, I believe, was reporting whatever transpired in the course of the judicial proceeding before the Honorable Apex Court. which took cognizance of the relevant matter and which passed appropriate orders for the appointment of a committee. These submissions of mine, I'm sure, would go a long way to put things in place and expedite the disposal of these cases. Thank you and Jai Hind.